Hello, welcome to another painting tutorial. Today we are painting the hand from Kingdom Death Monster. You'll notice we're starting things a little differently today. We already laid down the base colors. Decided I'll try my hand at trying to paint oils like you paint with acrylics. I didn't record that part just because I think it's self-explanatory. We've seen a million of those videos, right? But I started with some yellow ochre deep, that phthalo blue titanium white for the pants and the sleeves, some yellow ochre burnt umber mix for the cape, and then a mixture of that scarlet lake and phthalo blue as well for the brain, and then just the scarlet lake for those garments. Again, I'm just laying down the last of the base colors, and then we'll get into trying to make this painting technique work with me in oils. Alright, so here I'm going in with a mixture of warm white and the lake yellow deep to kind of start bringing out that fur that is around the neck and also underneath the chest plate. Now I'm just bringing out the details in that handle by dry brushing a little bit of that warm white over that handle. Again, a very different approach to my usual painting technique where we usually start with washes. That's why this piece kind of looks like a Lego, but I promise it comes together. Alright, now I'm going in with the wash, just to get some definition in those recesses. So I'm using a wash of lamp black mixed with that phthalo blue. The phthalo blue out of the tube is actually a phthalo blue and titanium white mixture. That's why you get like that really rich creamy blue color. It's from that titanium white. And it's a very strong blue. The wash, when you already lay down these colors in oil, the wash is actually kind of stubborn. It doesn't want to pull in the recesses. It kind of just wants to pull wherever you lay it. Almost like water on a windshield, if that analogy makes sense. It just takes a little bit more finessing to get it to work for you. And what is the point of me doing this today? Well, I kind of just want to show people who are interested in maybe adding oils to their miniature painting process that if you're coming from using acrylics, that you can still have a very similar workflow, right? So I guess kind of take the intimidation factor out. Like, you don't have to be intimidated. I've never used acrylics. Right? I've seen plenty of videos though. I know the process people do. They lay down the base colors and then they start getting into, I guess the contrast paints. I mean, it's basically contrast paints are just washes anyway. So it's kind of what I started with. And now here I'm starting to hit the raised area along the chest plate and stuff with a mixture of warm white and the yellow deep lake mixture, just to hit those highlights. And I'll start making the figure start to pop a little bit. Now I'm just going over areas of the armor with something that leans more towards a pure white. It's still not quite pure white. I don't usually like to just use a pure white for edge highlighting, and I'm just hitting even smaller areas where light's going to be catching those edges. Again, not every edge. I think you can easily go overboard edge highlighting every single edge on a miniature. Just want to pull out certain highlights like the patterns on the legs and on the helmet, you know. Just bring out those little details, but you don't have to do it to the whole damn thing, you know. Here, this is just a mixture of that scarlet lake red and titanium white, just hitting the top of that brain. There we go. Now I'm hitting some of those highlights on the sleeves. Again, just to make sure that I didn't use warm white this time, right? Because blue is a very cool color. Well, I want to go more so on that spectrum. So I use titanium white versus the warm white to mix in with that phthalo blue for the highlights. Now just using a wash of burnt umber, I'm going over the whole cape. Realized it kind of looked too similar to the armor, so decided to go a little darker with it. Now here you see, like, I'm just picking little areas with this is a pure warm white out of the tube now. I'm just picking little areas and adding it to really bring out those tiny little details. notice I'll jump back and forth between a brush that's loaded with paint here to get those volumes in the cape to get some highlights going, and then I switch to like a dry clean brush and I really just start blending in the outside of those paint strokes. It's one thing with working with oils, you need a couple of brushes in hand. You need the one that you're going to be working with mineral spirits. You want one that you're going to not mix any medium with the paint, and then you need a dry and clean one that you're going to use to like start blending and mixing. Again with another wash, really just pick out little areas to increase that contrast where I've just put those really light highlights. Now the washes are really starting to like agree with me, right? They're starting to do what I want them to do. I think it kind of helped to have like a smaller brush to get those washes in there to do what I want them to do. And now the piece isn't looking so much like a Lego. go, just doing a little stippling, kind of get that weathered look on the bottom. Maybe it's been dragging on some rocks or, kicking up dust at the tail of the cape. Going in once again, hitting some highlights, and I feel like this is necessary to get to a place where you want. You have to do this push-pull effect where you go a little lighter and then you go back to your darks, and then you realize some places where certain areas that need to get the contrast bumped up a little bit, so you go back in with some brighter highlights, or maybe a different color highlight. Maybe you went too white. Maybe you need to go a little bit more yellow or more cool in certain areas. So there's always this push-pull effect that you gotta do during the journey of completing one of these paint jobs. It's not as easy as just laying down your base colors, throw a wash on it, hit the highlights, and you're done. I know there's a lot of videos that depict that's how a workflow goes, but realistically, I don't think that workflow is going that way for most people. At least not for me. Again, sorry for the focusing issue. I've since fixed the issue where the focus kind of gets shifted to my hand, and messed with a few settings in my camera, and so future videos should solve that issue, but I've already recorded it. There's nothing I can do, and I can't record it again. Alright, now just adding some finishing details to the base. Using that little stray, what is that? For the super glue brush, that's not real hair. What is that? A bristle? Like a synthetic bristle. You see there's a little droplet of super glue on that stray bristle kind of hanging out there, so I use that to kind of glue down one of the sticks that was making contact with the base as it's curving and stuff. Alright, a little bit of landscaping and this project is coming to a close. Again, this was more of like an experiment, see how an acrylic hobby paint workflow can be, I guess, moved into oil paints without much difference, right? Now I use oil paints a little differently, but this goes to show you can use that same workflow. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe even learned something you could take on your hobby journey as well. If so, consider like, subscribe, follow, comment, and yeah, thank you for watching.